What's going on, fellas? So, as men, we all pretty much live the same life, just different variations. All right, something I like to call the masculine journey. Every man goes through heartbreak, every man goes through failure, every man goes through disappointment, every man goes through betrayal. No matter if you start off rich, no matter if you start off poor. All right, G, every single man at the beginning, especially in his life, comes from chaos or goes through chaos. Chaos can be in the form of rock bottom. Maybe you started off poor. Your family didn't have much. Chaos can be maybe you grew up with privilege, but your family wasn't closely connected. Your family didn't know how to show love. You didn't understand intimacy, all right? So maybe at this point you lack some emotional, what we like to call emotional intelligence or stability or whatever, G, all right? You lack that softness and warmth in your heart because you never learned it. But every man has a degree of chaos. Whether that chaos turns into bad habits, all right, G? Bad habits. I'm going to explain some bad habits in a second. Or whether that chaos ends up with that man having no clarity, meaning no vision, meaning no purpose, meaning no mission, meaning he's just drifting through life, all right? Like a leaf, like Forrest Gump. Everywhere life takes him, that's where he goes. He doesn't command life. He doesn't happen to life. Life happens to him. All right, fellas? So whether you do have passion, but it's wrapped up in bad habits, or whether you don't have passion, so you're like a ghost, you're dull inside, all right? Ice cold. It's chaos, all right? Obviously, it's not somewhere where you want to be. So if you're in any of these areas, this video is for you, all right? I'm going to show you how to break the cycle. Because remember, I said on my last video, I'm going to put it in the description, if you don't understand time, time is not linear, all right? You don't move from point A to point B. You will realize in your life, there's cycles, all right? There's patterns. There's trends, things that happen over and over. Relationships that keep repeating. Habits that you can't break from, all right? This gloomy, dark world that every time you feel like you get out of, you end up being right back in with no vision, clarity, or purpose because you don't understand that life is cycles, all right, fellas? But today, we're going to break the cycle, all right, G? Let's get right into it. So today, like I said, I'm going to show you why the old you must die so the new you can arrive. You can't stack the new you, meaning new habits, on top of an old mindset or old dead soul. All right, G? So let's break free today. Now, let's talk about bad habits. I don't really want to get into it, guys. You can check out my other videos for that. But you know your vice. There's many bad habits I can name, and some of you guys I may leave out because I can't name them all. I can't name every single addiction, vice, bad habit. I can't name them all today. But you know what it is. All right, G? And some of you guys, like I said, you lack clarity. But let me show you what happens. All right, fellas? And I'm going to lead you down this rabbit hole so by the end of it, you're going to know what next step to make, because I say this all of the time. Some of you guys are literally 2 yards away, all right, fellas, from the man who you know you are. You don't need to do much. Sometimes all some of you guys need to do is look in the mirror and remember who you are. Some of you guys are about 86 yards away. All right, you got a lot of fucking work to do before you even get some clarity about how this world works. But for the guys who are only 2 yards away, gee, give yourself some credit, like I said. All right, now, at some point in the man's life, what happens? What does he do? At some point, he ends up gaining clarity, or he ends up correcting these bad habits. This is the moment that most men, not every man, fellas, but most men end up gaining clarity. Through what and how? Through books, through podcasts, through networking, through self-development, through courses, through going to damn church. Whatever the case is, fellas, at some point, some man gets this clarity. Some of you guys are going to get this clarity through this video today. All right, fellas, but I'm going to show you the point. I was going to name this video Why Most Men Fail in Life, and they don't even know why. But I didn't want to be negative, G. All right, I wanted to give you some light because I wanted to tell you the truth. The old you has to die in order for the new you to appear. It won't happen. You can't live double lives. You can't serve two masters. It don't work like that. All right, fellas? It's either or when it comes to shit like this. And with this clarity, what do you get? Your bad habits start turning into good habits. All right, fellas? This lack of clarity start turning into focus and purpose. All right? Now, at this point, because you have good habits, you're getting up early, you're talking to yourself positively, you're treating people well, you're not lying, you're not sneaking behind people's back, you're not doing treacherous shit, you're locked in on yourself, you're not chasing women because you got a purpose, because you ain't got time to chase women because there's so many minutes and hours in a day. What happens because of this? Now, you start to get results. All right, fellas? And because you were living in this chaos so long, these results start to feel like luck. All right, G? But it's really not luck. I'm going to be honest with you. All it is because you got good habits, you gain clarity, focus, and purpose. It feels like luck. But all it is really is alignment. All right, fellas? When you just start doing the right thing. I tell my son this all of the damn time. Because you know when you were a kid, and you do some dumb shit, and then your mama catch you, or your dad catch you, or whoever watching you catch you, and now you upset because you got caught. Gee, I tell my son in those situations, I look him in his face, I'm like, gee, don't be mad at me. I'm the enforcer. I'm just doing my job. If I let you fuck up, I'm a bad parent. So I'm just doing my job so God look down on me and smile. But don't get mad at me, G. Just do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you just gonna feel like you getting lucky, but you really not getting lucky. You just align with how shit's supposed to be. All right, fellas, just do the right thing. You ain't gotta be perfect. And when I say do the right thing, I don't mean being a nice guy. I don't mean walking around like you some noble citizen. What I mean is do the right thing for you. So it just so happens that when you make better decisions for you, you make better decisions for other people. Everybody around you ends up feeding off your decisions. So like I said, when you get up early in the morning and you take care of your mind before you scroll your phone, first you take care of your emotions. So everybody you interact with throughout the day, they get the best side of you versus that side of you where you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you done checked your phone, got indoctrinated with all the filthy, stupid fuck shit of the world, and now you're trying to go out attempting to be pleasant. It's not gonna happen. Your mind's already been corrupted. All right, fellas, it's been fucked already. But good habits, fellas. All right, focus, purpose, and vision. You get results. Those results feel like luck, but it's really alignment. Now, let me show you the problem. And this is not even a problem yet. But remember I said, we all as men pretty much live the same semi-similar life. All right, fellas, not exactly, because some men actually stay over here. All right, guys, but let me tell you what most men go through, and I've been through this before. You get to this stage of limbo. And what is limbo? Limbo is the lonely stage. Limbo is the stage where these results and this luck, you almost get used to it because you're aligned, and these habits are no longer habits. They're more like you almost, and your purpose is you, so you're no longer distracted. But this is the thing. You're still human. Even though you're vibrating at a higher frequency and you almost feel like a god, you're still human. So you interact with other humans. Most of the humans that you interacted with when you were up here in this chaos, they don't relate to you in this area over here. So you're conflicted now. It's almost you're like here again, but you're not, because you got great results now. But you're conflicted. All right, fellas? I'm sure, fellas, some of you guys right here, I'm showing you where you gonna get. All right? It's a timeline, G. Just follow it. This is the stage, I call this the lonely stage. This is the stage where all your friends that you used to hang out with, you don't really relate to them anymore. Why? Because you can't even talk to them, G. It's like half the shit come out their mouth don't even make sense. And it's fucking your head up because you used to have them same conversations. And the people you want to talk to, they don't really want to fuck with you yet. Why? Because you ain't really there yet, all right? People up there, it ain't that they judgmental. They just territorial. Why? Because the energy up there is sacred. All right? It ain't even about that. It's probably the fact that you don't know the shit that you feel like you need to know yet. So you feel this dissonance, this disconnect, all right, in both areas. So you're in limbo, the middle, all right? It's foggy brain. You don't really know what's going on. You getting results, but you numb at the same time, all right, fellas? Now, this is the problem. This limbo stage is like a fork in the road, all right, G? And most men, not going to say most men, but you can go two separate ways. Most men go this way when they go back to the old version of themselves, all right? And the reason why is because they can't handle the pressure. The pressure of what? The pressure of being lonely. The pressure of not getting the same type of validation. Fellas, listen to me clear. When you were in this stage, all right, if I want to give a different name for it, I'll call it this toxic stage. This 1.0 version of yourself. Listen to me, G, because this is going to relate to women. All right, fellas, you guys always want to talk about women. I'm going to include women in this, and she do got a fat ass. I'm going to include women in this just so you guys can pay the fuck attention. So, you guys were in this toxic stage. You was this 1.0 version of yourself. And there were specific women, G, with big-ass eyelashes and BBLs that you were attracting. But one day, you got all the way up to here, all right? And then you started radiating differently. So now you're this 2.0 version of yourself. And then it's so ironic to you, G. I don't know why you're surprised by it. But it's so ironic to you that you still don't attract these type of women. You have to understand, when you change, your vibration will change. I'm not talking about when you change the way you dress or anything. I'm talking about when you change up here. Because you'll notice when you try to just change the outside, the shell, the exterior, nothing around you change. But when you go through this process, G, all right, this dying and awakening, when you go through this, all right, and you break this cycle of keep going through the same shit over and over, and you finally wake up, G, you finally open your eyes, you are not supposed to attract the same type of women. The reason why your dating pool gets smaller is not because women are intimidated by attractive men. And it's not because all this shit you hear today on the internet. What it is you build something in this 2.0 version of yourself called a aura. All right? And if a woman is low vibrational, which is most of these critters today, all right? I said it out loud. If a woman is low vibrational and she runs into a man like you with this 2.0 aura, G, do you think she is going to be, yes, she may be attracted to your outer shell, but once she looks in your soul, G, which every human does at some point, we all do it instinctively, and we can sense something in somebody else, it's going to either irritate them or pull them towards you, all right, fellas? So if you're getting ignored by women who you used to deal with, those type of women, I'm not talking about how they look. I'm talking about mindset-wise, G, the whole shit, all right, the whole 9 yards. If you are not getting the attention from those women anymore, that is a good thing. Maybe you need to start looking up. Now, let me go back to limbo. This is the point. Some guys, they can't handle this shit, all right? They can't handle this disconnect. They can't handle peer pressure from their friends. They can't handle FOMO. They can't handle a lot of shit, all right? So they go back to the old self, all right? Life moves in cycles. Some men break the cycle. And then some men say, no, fuck that. I am not. I refuse to go back to the old me. Ain't no way. Why? Because the pain of this shit is way greater, because you only realize this shit, fellas, when you look deep in yourself, when you get dark in the dark and you shut the noise out. You have to go through this process. All right. Some of you guys wonder how the fuck you found my channel. My channel is a representation of the darkness that you got to go through and look in your soul, G. All right. That's the only way you will make the right decision in this fork in the road. All right, fellas, just picture me standing at the fork in the road, G, with my goddamn shades on, looking at you like, what you gonna do, G? You gonna go back to the old you, or you gonna elevate? The only way you elevate is if you sit down and analyze and realize that the pain of staying the same is way greater than the pain of not being accepted, then the pain of being lonely for a little bit, then the pain of waiting and attracting what you actually deserve in your life. So, why do most men never get the life they want? Why do most men never end up making the right decision in this limbo stage? Why do most men end up going back to the old version of themselves? There is something called Predos Law, all right? Some people call this Predos distribution. Some people call this the Pareto principle. So what it basically says, all right? It has a lot to do with the law of rhythm. All right, fellas, as within, so without, which is the law of correspondence. Which means, basically, fellas, if we took every single dollar in the United States, or in the universe, actually, in the world, and we split it up and evenly divided it amongst every human being on this planet, not just men, but women as well. But let's just say men, all right, fellas, and we evenly divided up. Every single man, each one of you guys got the same amount of money, all right, fellas? By the end of the year, let's say we all got this money in January. All right, fellas, by the end of the year, fellas, I don't think we'll even make it to June. By June, all right, guys, that money, all of that money will go to its rightful owner. Meaning, the men who were broke before that split, before everybody got the same amount of money, those men will go back to being broke. The men who were rich, even though they have to start off in the same spot as those men who were broke before, these men will end up being rich again. Why? Because it has nothing to do with the amount of money you make. This is why no matter what man gets in that limbo stage, depending on what's going on up here, will determine which direction he chooses in that fork in the road. Whether he goes back to the 1.0 version of himself, or whether he evolves and elevates and ascends to the 2.0 version of himself. All right, G. Now, the moral of the story, when you get to this point, if you get there, some guys don't even make it there because they just keep climbing up and they can't even close their eyes to see this shit. But most people, and I want to say 93% of men, you get to this limbo stage. When you get to this lonely stage, G, don't fucking fold. Some of you guys in this stage right now, that's why you're watching this video. Don't fucking fold. Don't be a bitch. All right? Remember these words when your ass want to wake up, when you want to scroll on fucking Instagram at 6 in the morning, when your ass should be praying to God or talking in the damn mirror or meditating or eat some damn fruit or something. Don't fucking fold. Remember these words, G. All right, fellas? Put this shit as your alarm clock. Don't fucking fold. All right, fellas? So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Y'all like the new boy? Share this video with a homeboy that this will help out. All right, fellas? It's your boy, KD. We out here, baby.